next week.
Good afternoon and welcome to the February 3rd, 2026 committee meeting of the Natchitoches Parish School Board. Visitors, if you'd like to speak to an agenda item, please complete the speaker form in the back of the room and pass it forward.
Mic on?
Should be.
Speaking of that mic, Mr. Benefield.
We'll start over. No. Please silence your cell phones and any other electronic device that may interrupt the meeting. Again, any guest that would like to speak to an agenda item, please complete the form in the back of the room and pass it forward. Board members, do we have any business that we need to talk to or discuss before we have a roll call? Okay. Ms. Revels, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Danzy?
Here.
Mr. Matuire?
Here.
Mr. Benefield?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Present.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Here.
Ms. Palmer? Ms. Phelps?
Here.
Ms. Harvey?
Here.
Mr. Fredu? Mr. Nicholson?
Here.
And Ms. Page?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And Superintendent Eloy, can you present your report, sir?
Yes, sir. Pretty short report this month. But first off, we want to mention a few recognitions for this month. Obviously, it being February, we are entering into Black History Month, and we want to make sure that our schools are, when they're doing social studies and really different subjects, whether it be ELA, social studies, or even in our WIN periods, that they are using that time to reflect on the contributions of our African American citizens and what they've done to build America. And that's a really great opportunity for our students to broaden their horizons and diversify their outlook. So especially being in a historic city such as Natchitoches. Also, a little less than the whole month of Black History Month is National School Counselor Week. Now, our school counselors are very important. They do things like social emotional things with our students, but they also are the folks who guide our 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders through the pathway to post-secondary education, whether that be work or on-the-job training or college. So these are some people. One of the groups that I think is the most unsung in a school district, because most people don't know all the things that they do and all the connectivity they have to the master schedule and all the things, but very, very hardworking group of, I think, mostly ladies, although I'll say possibly there's a gentleman in there, but very, very hardworking, and they really keep things going, and they don't get enough credit. So we really want to give them their flowers now about how they keep us going every school year. Want to touch base on the ice storm last week. I thought we had it bad. I had no idea. We were out Monday and Tuesday. We have at least one North Louisiana district that was still out Monday. And the majority of District 7, or Region 7, which we are part of Region 7, that's your really your northwest central parishes, they were all out pretty much all week up until Friday. And so we were very blessed. We did have Lakeview that had to be out one additional day due to some water issues, but we were excited about that we didn't have the worst of it, although my children were not. I will tell you that I've gotten a lot of questions about minutes and waivers. Region 7 Superintendent Cohort, we have already sent a letter to Bessie requesting a waiver for all those minutes and we believe that Ms. Mellorin, who is our Bessie representative, will present that to Bessie, and hopefully we will have no issue and not have to make up any minutes. And I will keep the board and the rest of the district up to date on if we receive that waiver or not. I do want to mention also something we always talk about. We always want to be sensitive when we come back from a natural disaster or a storm or whatever it is. We know that when we come back, especially in our most rural areas, not everyone's going to be 100%. There will still be people who don't have electricity or some folks who have water issues. But we ultimately have to, go back to school at some point, and that's usually when the vast majority are able to go back. Saw a lot of comments on Facebook posts, a lot of people going back and forth about when school should come back, etc. What we always say, though, and I want everyone to always be able to reiterate this and say, I remember Dr. Eloy saying this, if we come back and there are people still in those situations, we always want to work with them. I saw a lady in the Campty area. She did not get power back till Sunday. And so I know her children were out of school the entirety of the week once we had gotten back. those absences, she should work with her principal and make sure those still get excused. So that way we kind of do the best of both worlds. The majority of folks who aren't affected come back to school, but those who are still impacted, we work with them. And so I want to make sure the community knows that, and that we are always trying to be as flexible as we can. Finally, today was a day that I think a lot of y'all have been waiting for. The bus bid meeting did occur today. We received 4 different bids from 4 different companies, Echo Ride, Durham, First Student, and DS South. And we will be compiling that data. Remember, it's not just a low bid, it's a rubric. And I will be sending some information out to the board, hopefully as early as tonight, but probably not until tomorrow. Because realize with these bids, we got what we receive is we receive a daily rate sheet. So the thing that impacts us the most is what is that daily rate for a regular bus route. Regular bus route, we have 75 of those routes. 75 times 168 school days times whatever the daily rate is going to be the vast majority of our contract. So what we want to do is we want to take all those daily rate sheets from the 4 companies. We know that, and this is public domain, we know that Echo Ride was the lowest bid, but what we want to provide to the board is we want to be able to provide what does that actually mean in an annual expenditure. So not $300 some odd per day, but what does that actually mean in totality of what the board would pay for an entire fiscal year. And then we also want to send those comparisons to you between the 4 different companies, and we also want to send you what we are currently paying, so you'll know what increases will occur, because no matter what, an increase will occur, and then what the difference between the companies are. So we will be in contact over the next week, and we hope to have that recommendation for you on next Tuesday's board meeting. And again, you have the ability to follow the district's the staff recommendation. You also have the ability to go elsewhere, and you also have the ability to table if necessary. So that concludes my superintendent updates for the month of, what are we in, February. So
Okay. Thank you, Superintendent. Item 3, old business. Discuss and consider the 2026-2027 school year calendar. Board members, anything that we can add to this discussion from our retreat? Any comments? Item B, discuss and consider the 2027-2028 school year calendar. Any discussion in that area? Okay.
I got a few. No.
Yes, sir. Item 4, new business. Ms. Phelps and I were discussing earlier or late last week about forming and blowing the dust off of our plan, and I've always called it a business resumption, but we need to have to look at our education and business resumption. Should a tornado hit a school? Should it hit the central office? What would we do? Where would we go? Who would go to work where? And so can we put together a committee, Superintendent Eloy, and now that we've had schools that have changed, we need to get that updated, and Ms. Phelps and I talked about it at length, and this is a good time to next month to start doing that.
yes, sir. I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay, good deal, good deal. And another piece of new business, Mr. McTwire, Ms. Phelps, and myself, along with the rest of the board, would like to congratulate Mr. Fradu, who's not here tonight, as being the new bus liaison. I think we all I hope you're feeling better tonight, Mr. Fradu. Okay. Item 5, the consent agenda. And item 6, Mr. Shirley, your maintenance report.
And Mr. Shirley, just because it's been a day, will you lead with the good news that we received?
Please let it
It's
be
like, wait,
good, Lord.
what? Good news.
He's looking for
Where
it.
was that located?
LP Vaughn, I believe.
Okay, I received the actual stamped set of plans today for the playground equipment at LP Vaughn.
Good.
It's shipping by the end of the month. We have a tentative install date of March the 16th. So hopefully within the next month, we will see that going up, and we'll have some little kids playing on it a few days later. So that's kind of exciting.
Mr. Shirley, please remind me that we do need to, the board had discussed having a plaque in honor of the donation from the Martin family.
A ribbon cutting.
and a ribbon cutting. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, we've, I needed to get with you on that actually. We've actually got some prices and some ideas on the plaque of what we want it to look like. So, after a day or two, I get those proofs back, I'll bring it to you and let you see.
And speaking of which, board, and not to hijack Mr. Shirley, but we have that dedication for Royal Martin. We're also going to be adding an agenda item for Marthaville to dedicate a building over there as well, which will show up on your agenda between now and next Tuesday. And then also, as soon as we get it from the company, if y'all remember when we moved into this building, this used to be the Nancy Harrington boardroom, and it still is, but we have a need to have a new plaque. And so when that comes in, we're going to also basically rededicate this boardroom to her as well.
That's great.
So sorry, Mr. Shirley.
That's okay. I'm gonna kind of go over some of the ice storm issues we faced. They was actually very, very limited this year. We were very grateful to not have to chase 7,000 leaks as normal. We had two minor incidents at Marthaville. One was with the nurse's station, the others with the kindergarten, which the kindergarten room we are having to repipe because that pipe actually feeds underneath the building, but it only affected one toilet, so we're good there. Lakeview, we had a pump housing that exploded underneath the football field where the old backflow is, so we will have to replace that. Pretty much that's about the extent of our storm damage. For once, we skated by with Natchitoches Central, knock on wood, with no leaks this time.
Mr.
Oh,
Shirley,
we lost a motor starter at LP Vaughn, and other than that, that's about our.
Mr. Shirley, have we, these areas of repeat problems, have we looked at maybe some heat trace or something to wrap these pipes and stuff with?
We actually, believe it or not, we actually done all that pre-storm,
Okay.
and the one in the nurse's station actually broke inside the building. It didn't. The outside was fine. It actually, where it penetrated the floor, and we had our pipe insulation and everything wrapped all the way to the floor, it actually broke on the inside of the floor. So I don't know if that's something we would look into, but that is a wood floor and heat trace. I don't know if that'd be good.
Oh, you
to
might
heat
be
that
right
up.
there.
But actually, at Lakeview, I think the issue with it was we had no water flowing that actually led off that pipe. That pipe goes up to the old ball field and feeds some of the baseball locker room. And I think we didn't have enough stuff dripping there to keep it flowing, and that's the only reason that pump housing exploded was because of that. I think that's preventable.
Yeah, the town of
Gator Hole
Campton
this
didn't have
time was
water. Yeah.
Immaculate, had no issues in the Gator Hole like we have in the past.
This page, the Gator Hole is okay. I was just
haven't visited.
But this time we actually closed off the vents on the gable ends and opened up some ceiling tile to get some heat in that attic. So we fared a lot better than I figured we would.
And I will say, we had 4 telephone conferences during the ice storm with the superintendents in Region 7, and they did have more prolonged periods, but even within the 2 or 3 days we had, and they all had, we fared much better because most of the absences after the fact were due to pipes bursting and things of that nature, which I think it's a credit to the maintenance team that those did not occur this go around.
Yeah, we spent a little extra time this time winterproofing everything, so I think we've done a pretty good job on it.
So,
What about at the old junior high?
No issues. Now the temp got a little low, and I did call them on the temp when we found out that it was only 62 degrees in there. We had them bump it up a little bit, but no water issues whatsoever.
No additional leaking.
No leaking.
wow. Well, you know, I've been getting calls all day
Oh, me too.
on Fairview, and the new tiles that we replaced are now soaked,
Yes, sir.
and I've been getting cut to pieces about it, and I don't know what to say. It's been going on.
Well, I'm
I
going.
see my my former colleague here, Eugene. It's been going on ever since.
Well, the
Eugene
third and final company that we had come out, or that we're having come out, they will be here Thursday. We've already received 2 different bids from 2 different companies on what it would take to repair that area over the cafeteria. Right now, the cheapest company was $267,000 to replace from roof line to roof line over that cafeteria area. We got one more that's supposed to be here Thursday, and he said if he got here Thursday, he could have his estimator have me the prices by Friday. Then we can sit down and discuss.
And we have Miss Deborah looking at what's currently in District 7 BRE.
Correct.
There's still some collections that still have to be made. I will tell you, if we do that, say that comes out to be the low bidder, there is going to be a question of, do we do this now or do we wait till next fiscal? And then there's also a question of Ryan's getting back with the folks to say, okay, well, not that this is a good thing, but if the folks say, hey, we can repair the roof, say it's for $267, but we can't do it while the kids are in the building, then that puts us in a situation where we can't do much except a Band-Aid until the summer, and then that allows us to wait till next fiscal, which would be much better. The alternative though right now is to do some patching, but as Ryan has told us in the past, and Ryan, call me a liar if I'm saying this wrong, patching, typically when they've gotten a crew up there, the patching has actually ended up caused some more issues.
Cause more damage. And the 2 companies that has given us the quotes, they refuse to even give a quote on temporary patching or anything. They will not give us a quote, period. Matter of fact, the last company, I just talked to them today and I got their bid today. They told us they would not take our money. If we wanted that to happen, we needed to call somebody else, but they would not do it, period.
To just patch it.
He said replace roof line to roof line. There's no other way to fix it 100% other than.
So I've gotten a bunch of calls and emails today, and I'm being very transparent with. We are in the process of bidding it out, but then there's a financial reality to it. We are working towards a solution, but the solution isn't going to happen even next month. It's probably going to be, I'd say, the quickest turnaround on this is going to be late spring, and that's if everything hits correctly, the bids come in correctly, all that fun stuff.
Right, because
we
if
gotta
it
wait.
is 267,000, then we actually have to put it out to public bid.
So if we gotta wait until next spring, and I understand why.
No, not next spring.
I mean,
This-
spring, I'm sorry, let me correct that. If we gotta wait until spring, we're talking about additional damage, increased costs because of this spring, rainy season. So which is,
The only additional cost in terms of extra damage that you're referencing would be really those ceiling tiles. It's not gonna, if we wait,
gonna be major.
no ma'am, it's just the cost of the roof is the cost of the roof. The damage it's doing really is about those ceiling tiles, and what's been done has been done. And then obviously we don't want water dripping on any child.
Because
So that's the biggest concern, is making sure that doesn't happen again.
So now,
50.
let me ask you this. In the library, if you look up in there, ain't nothing but, there's no installation or anything. Is that how the whole roof is?
95% of it, yes.
So,
Sound like something that's happened, appeared over time.
there's no installation.
No, there's no.
All you see is a metal roof with no installation. So, in order to even heat and cool that place, that's why
Making extra.
it is the most costly school in the whole district for us to heat and cool.
That is correct.
I will say this, and I want parents to know this if they're watching. Ms. Brooke is advocating,
She does.
and she is doing everything she's supposed to do, but and I would say board members are advocating. It's just, this is going to take a little bit of time, and I know that's
And it
not.
didn't just happen under her.
Yeah, and I know that's not,
That's-
as a parent, that's not something they want to hear, but it is going to take a little bit of time. We are going to try to, within our power, within this board's power, to expedite it as fast as possible, but there are some hurdles that we will inevitably have to jump on this.
Anybody else have any questions?
I have one question. So at the junior high school, like the old Magnet campus, there's a pallet in the front of blue chips.
It's going to the new location at LP Vaughn.
Okay,
Because whenever we bought those, or Antavius and them ordered those, it was going to go down on to the playground that was there. Well, that playground is no longer there. So that will be scooped up, bagged up, and it will go over. That was part of the cost savings, so we could get extra stuff out of that 50 that Royo gave us. So we still had 6 tons of rubber left over from the previous, plus that, so that cut down. So instead of getting just one piece of equipment, we were able to get 2 with the shades. So,
okay. Good deal.
so that's actually leaving between now and March 16th.
Good deal.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Shirley. Okay, Mr. Baptiste.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll try to make this brief. This reporting period, it's been like only 11 school days since I've seen you guys last. So there really hasn't been a whole lot that has transpired within our department from what we've done month over month. However, we're still focusing on our on-time performance, and it was consistent with last month. Although we had the storm, we didn't really have any major service interruptions. We did have an issue in the south of the parish, and that was due to a surprise, which would appear to be a long-term illness, employee with a long-term illness. So we'll be replacing that person. But we've continued to maintain our emphasis on safety, route adherence, and continuing our cost controls. We continue to do our preventative maintenance, as that is a priority. Over the past, since that we've last seen each other, we've hired one driver, so we're continually doing that. Although we did hire someone, we had one driver that separated. We currently have 3 drivers in training, and one of which is already earmarked to be the replacement in the south part of the parish.
And I do want to identify the gentleman in the back. We have Mr. Glenn Kruger, Chief Operating Officer for Echo Ride, in the building with us as well.
Yes. Any questions?
I understand you have a new system in place. I think it is to monitor the bus drivers in there.
It's not a new system. If you're referring to
Updated?
Some camera system, is
Yeah.
that
Yes.
yes, we. I think I indicated up through while we were doing it that we were going to be installing cameras, and I think I also shared that we had installed them. So it's just a method of being able to see what's going on, both with inside the bus and outside the bus.
But I understand along with that is the new, well, the updated system. That is a lot of more sensitivity involved.
Well, it's AI based, so as such, it will see things that maybe a normal human wouldn't. So it is somewhat sensitive. However, it's just looking at the environment based off of what our parameters are.
Mr. Baptiste, if it dings, and I don't think that's the proper term, the AI dings,
Okay.
do you have the ability as the supervisor to then go in and review it to say, was that a legitimate ding?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what I would say to that specific point is that although it is AI, everything is reviewed by a human. So
Because I received one of y'all's videos on an employee, and just to give you an example, Ms. Dorothy, it was full frontal of the employee driving just like this, and then like a little thing dinged up that showed that they were over the speed limit, and then it showed that they were over the speed limit for however many minutes, and then I think that automatically sends y'all notification. So it's not. I don't think it's punitive, but it's definitely a safety measure to say, hey, someone's speeding or someone is doing something that the AI detects.
If it's okay, I'd like to expand on that. It's not new here. We've been rolling it out for a while, for months. It really started last summer. But this winter break, we finished here. So there's drivers who hadn't had the experience yet that maybe you're hearing from. But there are plenty that have had that experience yet. So it is AI. It recognizes if they're not wearing their seatbelt, and it says, put your seatbelt on. It recognizes if they pick up their cell phone on it. I mean, it says, pay attention to the road. It recognizes if they run a stop sign, and will inform us of that. All of the little things, you know, like a seatbelt, like speeding, even it'll ask them to slow down. It doesn't send us a video of that unless they don't correct the behavior. So it's really a safety, an extremely effective safety mechanism that we're putting in all of our vehicles across all of our locations, because it gives them the chance to drive more safely if they're distracted or if they're, you know, thinking about other things. A child behind them may be causing an issue, or another vehicle that's driving too close to them. They might miss something over here that this system does help them with. And we've seen excellent success across our system. We've actually exonerated a number of drivers since we started putting these in place, where in the past, when there was an accident at an intersection, we may have been considered, you know, once the police report came out and they didn't see it happen, we provided video and actually exonerated our drivers just in the last 6 months several times, because it turns out it was the other person's fault. So we're trying to use it as a positive as well. Once we have it in all of our vehicles, we do intend to have actually a reward system, because it actually captures that too. If they make a maneuver to stop quickly when somebody else did something in front of them, it actually tells us that as well, and we're going to start rewarding people for excellent driving.
Okay, so I heard everything you said, and it sounds excellent, that everything is working fine. But I also receiving reports of oversensitivity causing some problems for the drivers, that the company might need to just take into consideration that things happen that they might not have any control over, and they're given, you know, that
Well, we only write.
consideration.
Sure. And again, we don't get a video for everything. They do get a chance to correct. But when we do get a video, and they didn't correct a behavior like not wearing their seatbelt, which is the law, when they're driving, we do have to write them up for that.
I understand if it's repeated behavior, but if you just have something that happens beyond their control, I can tell you how to do your job.
Do you have an example of something beyond their control?
Just about all even most companies, truck drivers, all of them is going to that. Any transportation,
Right, I think
going that. Some of them is so
Right.
sensitive. If you yawn, that thing will tell you need to stop and take a break.
Right,
Or if
right,
you
that-
take your eye off just a second, it's going to tell you need to, pay
Doing all of
attention. Or if you yawn or something, it'll tell you. I haven't seen them where they tell you might need to stop and get a cup of coffee. It's just that they can
that
put them sensitive.
sensitive.
And even if the drivers we have here, if they leave and go to a big trucking company, they're gonna have to deal with it too, because most of these big trucking companies going to, even a lot of the smaller trucking companies is going to
I'd
it.
imagine the
That's what
insurance companies are very happy about
I had
utilizing.
alluded to that the last time I was here, was that this is not exactly a new technology. It's new to us, but it's prevalent throughout the transportation industry. And so, as Mr. Matoir said, most other
I
companies
understand, but
are
Older
Behavior
drivers are
needs to be
probably
considered.
the ones who are really aggravated because of the way we were trained. We were just trained to keep your eyes on the road and this, that, and the other. But this actually, in the long run, will help them because sometimes being an older driver, we get so used to stuck in monotony. Yeah.
Well, and ultimately, this is about student safety. So,
And I don't even think they had it, but they had an accident down by Archer Sharp with a driver that car swole. The bus ducked over into that, but after everything was over, when they seen what went on, they never stopped for the stop sign and running inside the bus. So if they wouldn't have had something to reference on, you know, the police was actually thinking the bus driver did go over until after they'd seen what went on, and that helped them out a whole lot. That, because they'd have been in the wrong, because even a couple of people on the outside was passing by, they swore that the bus went over into them, and they was writing statements saying that it was all the bus fault, and it wasn't even the bus fault.
And I can tell you this, it's hard enough to hire and retain personnel, drivers, part-time personnel. We are not going to overwrite up people. We're not going to try to push them out the door for anything that isn't very provable with
That's
real
great.
evidence, which the video would show. That's the only time
Well,
they receive any sort of
Glenn,
reprimand.
you and I have talked at length. The other part that I don't know if bus drivers recognize this because they don't typically use this is if they are in an accident. I mean, you know how often you and we get sued for every bus accident. And a lot of times what these multiple cameras and this AI does is it actually clears of wrongdoing so that way you don't get named in a lawsuit. Employees don't have to, go through this difficult track or whatever because the cameras will say, no, they did everything they were supposed to.
That's the exoneration piece.
Yeah.
That's a big reason why we did it, just to be honest. It's student safety, it's driver safety, it's reducing accidents for the cost of fixing buses, and then it's not getting into litigation
Yeah.
without having evidence to protect ourselves.
I understand the purpose.
Mr. Glenn, does Echo Ride have a employee 800 number for HR?
We have a phone number that goes right to our corporate office.
Is it well posted?
HR desk.
Is it well posted?
Yes, well, it's from 7:30 a.m. and.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. On the bulletin boards.
Oh, yeah, every terminal has it.
You need a bigger font.
Oh. I'll make sure we get a bigger poster at this location.
Because somehow, somewhere, some point, some folks have appointed our board members has your 800 number. So let's see if we can't get your guys on board with that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. And now, for our newly appointed Director of Human Resource permanently, Ms. Ryder.
Can we do? I know she hates this, but a little.
Absolutely.
I said in my quote on there that you really need to have someone who is above reproach and respected at the highest levels in that position, and I think it is obvious based on all of your interactions over the many years that she's been part of this community that Miss Ramona does represent that, and employees truly trust that they're going to be taken care of. They may not like what she has to say all the time. They know she's consistent. So
Yes. Well, I'm so grateful to be here to serve this community. This is home for me. I moved away for a little while, but I found my way back, and so I really do care, and I'm glad that our employees recognize that. And as long as I'm in this position, I am going to operate with honesty and integrity. I'm going to follow policy, and there's some tough conversations that I have to have, but I always do that with love, and I always have some form of solution to, help our employees move forward. And so I was, I'm just grateful, and I'm just.
as are we.
I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Ms. Winder,
Yes.
too. Yes.
Thank you.
So with our personnel report, if you have any questions, you see that we didn't have a whole lot of activity for the month of January coming into February, but just to give you some updates on what's going on in HR. As I said before, during my reports, we're still working on just getting things in order to operate more efficiently. I'm super excited to be working in partnership with Mr. Kozad and his team because they can do far more than just set up computers. They are technology geniuses. And so we're digitizing forms for this year, like Ms. Nolly has been drowning in paper with putting out letters of intent to employees, also with transfers. So, Mr.
Well, tell them what you're doing with the transfer. I love this.
We're having a transfer portal. So for those of you who are
Oh,
our
wow.
sports team, we're having a transfer
College football.
portal that's
But without the NIL money.
Nick-
Yeah, no NIL.
Nick Saban would love you.
back there grinning because so they're they're just super talented, and they're able to write programs and just help me think through it all about, you know, getting away from some of the things that we've been doing that just weren't necessarily the most efficient. So
If they get
Well,
in
Mi-
the portal,
we're working on a transfer portal where people,
Wow.
where employees can go in, and if they want to request transfers, and they'll work through that process, and then they'll also be able to go in and tell us whether or not they plan to come back for next school year, if they're planning to retire,
is
if they want to
wonderful.
take a medical sabbatical or a professional sabbatical. All of it will be just in one platform. So just utilizing those resources, and also just being able to partnership with some very talented people we have here in our district, and capitalizing on that.
You know, Miss Ramona, we've heard the word teacher burnout numerous times over the last 6 weeks.
Yes.
And this could be an absolutely wonderful opportunity for a teacher that may want to do something different within our system to avoid that burnout. I come from a background of industry and business, and you have to constantly reinvent yourself and move into different areas to stay. And so this might be an opportunity for you to post different things that upcoming events and stuff like that. I think this is a great opportunity to avoid that teacher burnout.
Thank you, and I'm a poster child of reinventing yourself. I'm a poster child from starting off teaching in this district at Clucherville in 1994, and then moving and teaching in some adjacent parishes, and then making my way back, and being in the school system, going to Northwestern to work, and finding my way back here. I'm a poster child of avoiding burnout, and then just moving from one level to another, and expanding my talent and expanding my reach. And
So you have the blueprint then.
yes, and so I want to.
And the cross training, like talked about.
Yeah, so I want to be an encouragement to other employees that have the same desire. So we are going into recruiting season, and I was able to attend an event at Northwestern 2 weeks ago. It was kind of speed dating set up there, and that was really fun to have conversations with their students who are in their leadership program, and about opportunities to work in our district, what we have to offer, and to be able to answer some of their questions. And so the universities around us are going to be having their recruiting events, so I will be attending those, and I'll be planning our district level job fair soon, so I'll be able to tell you the date of that when we meet again, and I'll deliver my next report. I had an opportunity, I was talking to Pastor Harris about that. Research shows that 60% or so of teachers teach within a 15 to 20 mile radius of where they went to high school. So for me, that is significant in deciding, where I'm going to go, what recruiting is going to look like, instead of going to some of the far away places, to kind of focus more in on growing our own, because in looking at the numbers, the majority of our future teachers are sitting in our classrooms right now.
Right.
So that is the direction that I want to go with our recruiting, and just trying to be good stewards over the money, and just as it relates to that. So that wraps up my report. I don't know if you all have any questions, but if you do, Mr. Benefield, my number is big. I can post it. HR number.
There you go.
Large font for people to call if they need something.
And Miss Ramona, I think I speak for the entire board. Congratulations.
Thank you again.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, Ms. Phelps is going to take on our item 7.
Okay. Item number 7, Finance Facility Service and Insurance Report. Item 7A is the designation of an ITAP representative, and you'll see that the motion would be to approve authorizing the superintendent to serve as the designated representative. And there's also a resolution attached for your review. The main part of the resolution is a resolution authorizing which would be the superintendent of this parish school board of the parish of Natchitoches of the state of Louisiana, to serve as the designated representative of the school board to the Industrial Tax Exemption Program of the State of Louisiana Committee for Natchitoches Parish, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. And previously, we had Mr. Wascom in this position, and we're looking to move it to Dr. Eloy. So review the resolution. If you have any questions or anything, be sure and let us know. Okay, and then we'll move on to item 7B, which is the Goldana CEA, the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement. And Mr. Benefield, I think we have a speaker.
We do. Ms. Cloud, the mayor of Goldana, please, ma'am. Thank you for coming in tonight.
And I know you're not very wordy at all, but we have 3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll probably be 1 minute. Dr. Eloy and school board members, we appreciate you for allowing us to be here tonight. And I say us, I'm talking about I have an alderman, Mr. Reed Franklin, and Mr. Eugene Garner, which is over our water department. But we're here to inform you of what the citizens of Goldana would like to see happen to our Goldana School campus. First of all, we're asking each of you as a board member to please consider in voting yes to lease this facility to the village of Goldana. Then if you pass this, we would have to have an election for the citizens of Goldana that live in the city limits. We would have to have to pass a 1 cent sales tax in order for us to fund this facility and for the upkeep of the campus. And there's so many different options that we have that we can do with this facility, and there's been several suggestions. One would be to have a library in the school, which is already a library there, and exercising equipment, say for the gym, and maybe a little walkway, or I guess call it a walkway around the gym for the senior citizens to come and do their indoor exercising. For the auditorium, we could have singings, we could have revivals, we could have beauty pageants, so many different options that we could have for this auditorium. And this is not only for the citizens of the community of Goldana, it's for all other communities that could take interest in this and have different things too. And I mean, we could even have there's been suggestions of having a family clinic there, and after school tutoring. It's just so many different things, and it's so many different buildings that we could take and do things with. We probably could even have a flea market there with different vendors coming in, and it's just a lot of different options that we could have. And so we can't decide on this until we know that we're going to obtain the campus. And again, I would like to ask each of you board members to consider this as a great access to our community and to other communities, and vote yes so that we can move forward with this matter. Appreciate you, and we thank you again for having us.
Board members, any questions for Ms. Cloud?
We toured some of the Drive-Prong School.
That's a neat, what they did over there.
It was very neat. We were very impressed with it. And then
Great pizza, too.
These Reed and Eugene went to Shady Grove, and they were impressed at what they saw there too.
If you go to that Dry Prong one, y'all, they've done a CrossFit there. They've also done a massive restaurant, and it was so neat. Last Christmas, my wife and all went there, and we sat. She matriculated through Dry Prong Junior High, and we went and had in their old cafeteria, like they have a wood burning stove oven that they cook fresh pizzas and all. It was so neat.
You know, this is open to the public. This little cafe is. We told them they needed to put a sign up out on the highway that it is a cafe there, because there's so many people does not know that it's there.
She has her law offices there as well.
She has her
and
law
it's
offices.
really,
she has
really
spent
neat.
a lot of money, but she's gotten a lot of grants for it too. But it is a really pretty. I was so impressed with the cafe, their
really
old cafeteria, what she did for that. But I mean, they have a big menu too. If y'all ever passing by and want to go in, they'll let anyone.
They have an ice cream shop too, and all sorts of stuff.
And
You have your best salesman for it right here.
Good. It was. I love pizza. So.
yeah, Yeah, this is one of those big ovens where they have the fire in it that they do in the pizzas and all. We didn't do pizzas, we did something else, but it was very good what we had. We had barbecue sandwiches and different things. But you would never know that it's there. And so someone of them suggested, that they put a sign out and let them know that it's a cafe there. And they probably could get a lot of business, which they get business there anyway. They say people come out of Ellicott to eat lunch.
We came all the way from Natchitoches, so.
And so,
We do a lot of community things up at the one in Shady Grove there.
yeah. I
It's
missed that.
funded.
I didn't go see that, but they said it was very.
It's actually funded through the collaboration with the police jury. Yeah.
Eugene, do you have anything to say about the Shady Grove or Reed? I know y'all not on the agenda, but
It's Cloud, you're behind the curve. Eugene's done his politicking already. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cloud. So the recommendation reads a motion to approve a resolution establishing a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Natchitoches Parish School Board and the City of Goldana concerning the grounds and facilities over the former Goldana Elementary and Junior High School. And in your attachments, you'll see the 11-page agreement that the attorneys have come up with, and Mr. Fredu has worked on this very hard too. So he can't be with us tonight, but he will be back next week. But if you have any questions, we can possibly answer those for you, or Dr. Eloy can. So is there any discussion or questions? Okay. So moving on to item 7C, we have permission to advertise for agricultural lease in the Clutcherville area. Dr. Eloy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So this is the same lease that we put up, I guess, Ms. Kanika, 4 months ago? We received no bids on it. I don't know if y'all want to put it back up to bid. I know the board is a little bit, has some different opinions all over the place with it. There was one constituent that reached out to us, and I'm relaying what they've said, which is, this is 330 acres. But what they've told us is that only 280 of those 330 acres are farmable, so they believe that we should be putting this out with only 280 acres. The plat shows 330. I'm not a farmer. I don't know what could and couldn't, but I imagine that could be taken care of in the bid process. But we do have a minimum bid, and so their contention is that the minimum bid is based on a per acre amount, and if you multiply it times the 330, they're saying that's more than it should go if it's 280. I'm not saying that's true or not. I'm just relaying that information to y'all.
Well, they're saying it's the acres. They'll hear what they're saying. Farm ground. That's what they're saying out there.
At the
OS.
where you would
I went out to on the bypass. They're saying that's what the amount of acreage is farming acreage.
So we all.
Sure, I think that's where Mrs. Stamey got the acreage from off of the stuff that and they keeps up with how much is farming ground now. If it have growed up, whoever was farming it shouldn't have let it, leasing it before shouldn't have let it grow up.
Yeah. There was supposedly one other entity that called like 2 weeks after the bid closed that said, "Oh, I want to bid," and it was too late. So we may put this out and get no bids again, or you may get some folks, but it's up to y'all if y'all want to change the parameters of the bid. Because if you remember last time, y'all did have a minimum amount that y'all were willing to take. I believe it was 26. I don't think it's on here, but it was it's
$85, wasn't it?
$85 an acre times 330. I think that came out to $25,000 or $26,000.
Yeah. And if we don't get no
Been getting for it.
nothing, we got several years they didn't pay nothing.
That comes out to $28,050. So
And then I don't know if they was even paying $10 an acre or $20 an acre for it. So
They were farming it though?
yeah, they were farming it. And so actually they was farming it for free, really and truly, because what they was paying for it, they was getting a whole lot more from government than what they was paying for it. And then that. So if we don't get no, and I hadn't had a chance to check into it there, because they have contacted us with about some of our property, putting it in government wetland, and they're paying pretty good per acre for it for so many years, and they'll come in and plant the trees and all that. So if we don't get no lease on that, let's look at planting it in, just putting it in government property, wetlands.
Once you put it in wetlands, it's there. It's not coming out.
Yeah, that's,
But then it becomes hunting lease property then. So it's no longer farmland.
yeah. Now with the hunting lease, I've had several calls on they've never got with them on the hunting lease. I told them call that because some of them hadn't even paid nothing last year for the hunting lease because they never did
Let me
with them.
reach out with Joe because I personally, probably at least 4 or 5 who reached out to me that I put in contact with Joe, and Joe immediately called that day. But let me check. I'll check with Joe and also check with business department to see who has paid and if there's any lingering. And then some of those who might be lingering, it may be because they were playing phone tag with Joe. So I'll check up on that this
And
week.
then one of them had said that they had Joe had told them that we was gonna rebid everything, but I thought all we was gonna do is just what he was gonna put in the lease, the stipulations in the lease. If that person that had bidded on the property last year, if they satisfied with what he put in the lease, that we was gonna go ahead and grant that
So
lease.
my recollection is some of that was still in discussion because I know, and not to throw names out, I think Mr. Nicholson had some concerns that I think were echoed by Mr. Fredu, but then I think there were some different concerns from some folks over here. And so I left it not knowing exactly where the next step completely was going to go.
We need to have another meeting.
Yeah.
Cause I know Joe had said what he wanted to put in there that we could like break the lease anytime. Yeah, because
All in
Oil and gas.
it was if somebody wanted to lease it for all, we couldn't double lease it.
And Chad had mentioned, like I think he does his through Royal Martin, that as long as you do what you're supposed to, like there's an indefinite amount of renewals, and you can still increase the cost. And then Mr. Nicholson, I think you had concerns about in-parish folks and that dynamic. So what I can do is I can actually, Joe's going to be here next Tuesday. If y'all want me to, in the interim, put a hunting lease discussion item, no vote, but a discussion item for next week. He can pull double duty and talk to us about the executive session and then also talk to us about hunting leases.
I thought we talked about that at length previously.
Ms. McGaskey, we talk about a lot of stuff over and over again.
Yeah, and we still hadn't collected any money.
Yeah.
So it was an interim, as I recollect, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, it was an interim decision for this year with a follow-up for moving forward.
Contractually, it was not put out correctly, Ms. McGansky.
Okay,
And there needs to be some tweaking with that.
okay.
So if somebody wants to hand us several $1 million for oil and gas leasing, and it's blocked because of a $300 lease
Yeah.
for hunting, we might need to consider that.
Yes, I agree.
For sure.
That's all I had.
Okay, that concludes Finance Facility Service and Insurance Report.
Thank you, Ms. Phelps.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Ramon, anything else on personnel?
No, Ms. Ramona actually stepped out. We have an employee who had an emergency medical situation, so she was going to visit her at the hospital.
That's great. Okay, Ms. Tankia.
Okay. Executive report 9A, February 10th, executive session. The board may enter into executive session pursuant to Louisiana RS 4217A2 to discuss its strategy and defense of the following matters: Natchez Parish School Board versus certain underwriters at Lloyd's, London, and others, United States District Court, Middle District of Louisiana.
Okay, and that
And then
will be next week. Yeah.
We'll exit executive session. Are we in a discussion? Oh. A discussion.
Okay, board members, anything that we've not covered? And Ms. Dot, we'll probably cover it again. Board members, if there's no other discussion, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.